I'd like to call to order the August 2026 meeting of the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll.
Curtis Brown.
Present.
Jonathan Repass. Greg Billets. Ashley Williams.
Present.
Cecil Anderson.
Present.
John Elliott. Sherry Garrett.
Present.
Philip Graves.
Present.
And Paul Huff.
Present. If you would all join me, please, in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members of the Board of Zoning Appeals are volunteers from each commission district who do not receive compensation for their work on the board or the training they attend. As a quasi-judicial body, we avoid ex parte communication and conduct our business in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. My name is Paul Huff. I'm the chairman. To my right is Mr. Curtis Brown, our vice chairman, and to his right is Mr. Myers Morton, our law department representative. We have additional folks present. Miranda, if you would introduce your folks.
You have myself, Miranda Ward from Knox County Code Administration, and we have Mike Reynolds from Knox Planning.
Thank you. Our voting procedure requires a simple majority of board members present. Today, there are 7 members present. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve last month's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals is authorized to grant variances and hear other matters by the Tennessee Code and Knox County Zoning Ordinance, specifically 6.60 Board of Zoning Appeals. These laws prescribe strict parameters, the meeting of which is required to grant a variance. The burden of proof that an application meets these parameters rests on the applicant. Quoting from Knox County Code of Ordinances 6.60.04, variances, the purpose of the variance is to modify the strict application of the specific requirements of this case, requirements of the ordinance, in this case of exceptional, irregularity, narrow, shallow, or steep lots, or other exceptional physical conditions whereby such strict application would result in practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship, which would deprive an owner of the reasonable use of their land. The variance shall only be used where necessary to overcome some obstacle which is preventing an owner from using their property as the zoning ordinance intended. For each matter, the clerk will read the request into the record. The chair will then ask if the applicant is present. The chair will then ask if there is opposition or other speakers who wish to present. You do not have to come forward at this time. Once we determine the speakers for an item, we will call on governmental agencies such as Knox County Codes, Planning, or Engineering to make statements regarding the facts pertinent to the property and background of the request. Board members may ask questions of the governmental agencies once they have made their statements. The chair will then call on the applicant to come forward, state their name and address for the record, and present their evidence and reasoning supporting the granting of a variance. If there is no opposition, the applicant has 10 minutes to present their case. If there is opposition, the applicant and opposition each have up to 15 minutes. After the applicant's presentation, the board members may ask questions of the applicant. The chair will then call for opposition or other parties who have up to 15 minutes to speak. This 15 minutes applies to all parties, so if there are multiple parties that wish to speak, please determine how you are going to divide your time beforehand. After the opponents present their opposition, the board members may ask questions of the opponents. Finally, there will be a discussion of the case by the board, during which time board members may ask further questions of parties that have already testified. The board will then make any determination it deems necessary. Our bylaws allow an applicant at the initial hearing of the matter to request a deferral of 30 or 60 days without prejudice. In the event of a deferral of an application or failure to appear, any opponents may be heard on the record at a meeting where the application they oppose appears on the agenda. Mr. Law Director, if you would please swear in anyone wishing to speak.
If you're going to be testifying before this board, will you please stand and raise your right hand? And answer my question. Do each of you affirm or swear that the testimony you're going to be providing to this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Say, I do. Thank you.
Are there any agenda changes or corrections?
Item 5A is withdrawn.
Very good, thank you. Okay, beginning with item number 4A. This was deferred from last month, I believe.
Item 4A is a request of Bailey Lane for waiver of front yard setback from 35 feet to 25 feet. Property is located at 4835 McLeod Road, parcel ID 019-20207. Property is zoned RA in the 7th Commission District.
Is the applicant present? Yes. Is there any opposition to this? Any statements from codes?
Not at this time.
If you would, please state your name and address for the record.
This is Michael. Turn to Michael. Bailey Lane with Robert Campbell and Associates, 621 Wall Street, Sevierville, Tennessee.
And pursuant to Knox County Code 6.6004, what evidence do you have to present that supports your application for a variance?
When the developer went out there to just test and see if they could build the house in the location listed there, when they dug, the hole immediately filled with water. So they were trying to get away from that as much as possible.
So you're claiming that there's exceptional physical condition on the property?
Yes, sir.
This is in Sherry's?
There are no current issues with the area you plan on putting the house at, correct?
I don't believe so, no. They went and tested that as well.
Okay. Well, I do think this is pretty straightforward, so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the waiver of the front yard setback from 35 feet to 25 feet due to the issue with the water in the holes, I'm assuming because of the North Beaver Creek.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Five B.
5B is a request of Reese Valeriano for waiver of front yard setback from 20 feet to 14 feet. Property is located at 7519 Speckled Trout Lane, parcel ID 091EB015. Property is owned PR in the 6th Commission District.
Is the applicant
Good afternoon.
Any opposition to this? Please state your name and address for the record.
Ben Mullins, 550 West Main Street here for the applicant.
And give us your rationale for requesting the
Yeah, this
variance.
is it's a corner lot adjacent to a key lot, which under the current zoning ordinance has two frontages instead of one of them being considered a side. I know they are trying to fix that or proposing to fix that in the UDO, but under the current zoning ordinance, it is what it is. And you know, the reason it was laid out this way is that the overall lot configuration, it's wider at the bottom at its frontage with Ball Road and kind of tapers a little bit as it goes north towards the other lot. It doesn't have direct access to Shod Road. At the time of the rezoning, there were conditions that were put on the property. There were concerns about site distance and making improvements to Ball Road if we accessed Ball Road and didn't have direct access to Shod. So that kind of dictated we couldn't put the road kind of in the center, which would even the lot sizes on each side. We had to move it a little further to the left to hit the site distance, which made some really long, deep lots on one side and short on the other. And then, of course, the other condition was to have a stub out to the property to the north. So the road was able to follow the contour where it gets narrow up there, but it's off-center at the bottom. So in order to access that part of the property for additional lots, that's where the cul-de-sac came in, creating that little corner lot adjacent to a key lot. Meets every other requirement, minimum lot size, everything else, except we just can't do this with having 2 front setbacks, so we're asking for relief.
Whose district is this? Mr. Elliott's.
Yeah, John's not here.
Yeah, that's John's. He's not here. Anything from codes on this?
We don't have anything.
I have a question for codes. So front yard setback applies to both the frontage on Speckled Trout Lane and also on Hickory Club Lane, is that correct?
That's correct.
Question.
Yes, go ahead, Sherry.
I'm going to maybe assume that the front yard setback you're needing is the one on the Hickory Club Lane side?
Actually, I think it's both of them in order to make it work. We've got to
So
kind of,
you would need one for each?
it would
of
be
the
from
front
the, for the front yard to be reduced to 14 feet. Of course, the front yard here applies to 2 sides of it, yes.
Okay.
It appears that this is only one of 4 that we're going to see, probably the other 3 in the future.
I'm not aware of any others on this one.
Well, 12, 13, and 14 appear to have the same issue on the front yard, on the Speckled Trout Lane side.
I think it's because this radius right here, the corner of the house, is too close. The site, they've already applied for permits for 12 through 14, and
Mr. Harbin whispered in my ear that he was one that did this as well. I mean, I don't think we need it for 12, 13, 14. It's just the one on 15.
So Miranda, it's just the corner of 15 where the radius is in the property line? Is that where it is as far as Speckled Trout Lane is concerned?
yes, as far as Speckled Trout Lane is concerned, 12 through 14, I
But
think ended up meeting it. I can pull it up.
But the Hickory Club Lane frontage is all along the property, is that correct? I mean,
Correct. It's that whole side that needs it
Okay.
on all of Hickory Club.
So we're doing the whole side of Hickory Club, right?
Yes. Well, in the past, I think we have considered these exceptional physical conditions being the fact that it's 2 front lot, 2 front side, two front yards, and given relief on 1. Since it's just the corner of I guess that's the lot, is this a structures, is the box that encompasses 15, is that the structure that we're looking
I
at?
think that's the envelope that we'd be able to build upon,
Okay, the
meeting
building
the other
envelope.
setbacks, yeah.
If it's just that one corner of that building envelope that is an issue on Speckled Trout Lane, it seems to me like we should be able to give relief on exceptional physical condition. So for that reason, I will make a motion that we approve this variance.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question first?
Sure.
Are the physical or the special circumstances, are they not self-inflicted in this case? I mean, they drew the plan. I mean, they could do with one less lot, correct?
You are correct.
It's not a hindrance of the property itself. It's a nice flat piece of land. They just want another lot. But then I have 40 instead of 41.
And like I said, I think because of the site distance issues and what we had to do with Ball, it dictated where we could put that road. And it had to be off center and kind of curve back. And so you created like a really wide area on the right, and which is does allow the cul-de-sac to come in there, but otherwise that most of that entire side if we're going to access that side and for all of those lots, we would have to create at least one corner lot that would have this issue.
I think his point is, Counselor, if you just delete lot 15 and build 12, 13, and 14, you won't have a setback issue anywhere in that group.
Well, I understand, and it's, there's practical difficulties to be considered with regard to the size of the lot, but I do understand your point. This is something that if, understand the UDO this would not be an issue if they were to move forward with setbacks the way they've been trying to propose. So it's.
Can you elaborate on what the practical difficulties are in just deleting
Well, I
a lot?
mean, the zone, it's zoned PR at 8 units an acre, and it has a minimum lot size. It has 4,000, it meets a 4,000 square foot minimum lot size on it. And so, I mean, everything else is allowed in the zone, but for this 2 front corners. I mean, so it would be a use that would be allowed, but for the strict application of this being considered having 2 front yard setbacks.
Well, a motion's been made. Do you wish to make a substitute motion? Hearing none, then I will go ahead and, I guess, wait for a second. Second. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the request as presented. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
This will be 5C.
5C is a request of Susan Baumann for waiver of lot intensity from 1 acre per dwelling to 2 dwellings per acre. Property is located at 5525 Fort Sumter Road. Parcel ID at 019177. Property is zoned AG in the 8th Commission District.
Whose is this? Whose district? Who? Mr. Graves. Mr. Graves. Is there any opposition to this? Can you state your name and address for the record?
Right now, I live in Anderson County. It's Susan Baumann, 170 Brookfield Drive, Clinton, Tennessee.
Thank you. If you would, please give us your rationale for requesting the variance.
It's 5525 Fort Sumter Road, Knoxville. It's out in Halls. I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Oh, you can't. Can you give us the reason why the rationale for asking for it?
Health reason. I have stage 3 ovarian cancer. I've been fighting it for 2 years. I recently was divorced and I have a mobile home. And I would like to move it in closer to my brother who also has health problems. And my son is going to be the caregiver for the both of us. This way, we're close to each other. And the house right now is being used as storage. There's no electricity to it or nothing.
Is there a house on this lot already?
The house is 30, it was built in 64.
Is it currently occupied?
No, it is not occupied. It is being used as storage. There's no electricity to it.
So are you planning to use it for an
Just-
occupied?
I'm just using it for storage.
So you're going to build 2 houses on this lot?
No, I'm going to move my mobile home in.
So everybody's going to live in the mobile home?
Pardon?
Is everybody going to live in the mobile home? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
that's where
saying?
I'm going to move it in so we can, that's where we'll live, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, just so I'm clear, you're only proposing to put 1 dwelling unit on this property, is that correct? Dwelling unit being the mobile home you plan to live in?
Yes, just the mobile
Okay.
home. The house is not livable. It's being used as storage.
So that's
We're-
that's an accessory structure under the code. Miranda, does that change what we're looking at here?
Technically, it still meets the requirements for a single-family dwelling. She could apply for an accessory structure and remove, like, one of the bathrooms, for instance, or we could inspect it to make sure it's not hooked up to utilities and give it a new certificate of occupancy for an accessory structure rather than a dwelling. And then she could just, with that being accessory structure, she could just apply for the mobile home without a variance. I didn't realize it wasn't being lived in.
I'm new at
So
this. I didn't know what
do
to
you,
do.
Do you understand what we're saying here? Since the structure that's on the property currently is not a dwelling, it's not a dwelling unit,
No, nobody's living in it.
you do not need permission to put a dwelling unit on this property because you already are allowed to put one dwelling unit on 1 acre.
Okay, well, see, I
So-
didn't know.
Okay, but after the meeting, please get with Miranda and figure out what you need to do in order to meet the requirements of the code. You don't need a variance going forward.
Okay, well, I did not know I'm new at this, so.
Quite all right.
Do we need to vote to withdraw that?
Yes, I think withdrawal would be the right way, Counselor. So you wish to withdraw your request since you don't really need a variance, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we withdraw this request.
Mr. Chairman, were there any fees paid to come to this that we could maybe,
Oh, yes,
get
good
back.
question.
Is she paying any fees on this, Miranda?
Yes, there was a $200 fee.
Okay, I will amend my motion and say that I move to withdraw this motion and refund her fee, since there is no variance required on this property.
I second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Phil. Or Ashley. 5D,
5D is a request of Jason Bernard for waiver of periphery boundary from 35 feet to 10 feet. Property is located at 8019 Gatestone Lane, parcel ID 046MH023. Property is zoned PR in the 7th Commission District.
okay. Applicant, I assume you're the applicant. Is there any opposition to this? No opposition? Anything from codes on this?
We have nothing.
If you could please state your name and address for the record.
Jason Bernard, 8019 Gatestone Lane, Powell, Tennessee.
And if you could give us your rationale for requesting the variance.
Yes, I would like to, a hardship to build a 3-car garage. For the property, I would like it facing towards the subdivision entrance, and it has already been approved by the homeowners association. But the back fence was the distance I was going to go 10 feet off of the line.
Okay, a couple of things. Number one, wanting to build not being able to build a 3-car garage is not a hardship in terms of what the zoning ordinance expects lots to be used for. And number two, we really don't care what the homeowners association says, yes or no. But I will give you this. The reason you're asking for this is that you have an irregular shaped lot,
Yes, sir.
if that helps. Sherry, would you like to weigh in on this?
So I'm understanding you need the periphery off the rear, so it wouldn't matter if it was a 3-car garage or a 2-car garage or even a 1-car garage, you still need that periphery waiver of that boundary. Have you spoken with your neighbors behind? You said it was approved by the HOA, and we don't take that into consideration, but have you spoken with your neighbors?
Yes.
That live behind you? Do they have any objections?
No.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the waiver of the periphery boundary from 35 feet to 10 feet due to the irregular shape of the lot.
Thank you.
second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. This will be 5H. Sorry, 5E.
5E is a request of Union Baptist Church to appeal Knoxville, Knox County Planning 8-A-26-UR, waiver of southern peripheral setback from 50 feet to 20 feet and reduction of the eastern peripheral setback along parcel 040106 from 35 feet to 31 feet. The property is located at 6701 Washington Pike, parcel ID 040-10901. Property is owned AG in the 8th Commission District.
I assume you're the applicant. Is there any opposition to this? Anything from codes?
We have nothing.
If you could, please state your name and address for the board, for the record.
I'm Harry Brooks, 6600 Washington Pike, 37918, member of Union Baptist Church. I'm here representing the church.
And if you could, give us your rationale for requesting the variance.
Just for a little background, we're blessed with a 26-acre campus, and we've had for decades about 23 vacant. And we've been doing some research and working on that from a standpoint of what ministry would be effective with our church, and secondly, what would be of value and need to the community. And through the research, we found two things that became very apparent. One, need for daycare. Second, need for family recreation and children's sports opportunities from that standpoint. So we proceeded with that, added a daycare recently. The master plan that MPC approved basically had 3 ball fields: T-ball, girls softball, Little League, and then there was multi-purpose field from soccer, football, lacrosse, whatever it might be, with a pavilion, with a walking trail around there, with pickleball courts and a dog park. And that concept is what we're dealing with. But I need your help with some particulars. If you look at on the map down to the bottom, the western boundary, there is a corridor that will become the exit corridor. Okay, see there? There we go. Those lanes of travel. We will need 3 lanes of travel there. It's 150 feet. If we have 3 lanes of travel, and if we're looking at a 24 width, travel lane, that eats up quite a bit of it. Right in the middle of that, you'll see the yellow or orange line. That is a water conveyance that actually goes underneath the railroad track to come from the other side to move the water to that point to a culvert that goes underneath the road and then runs down into Murphy Creek. So along those 150 feet, I've got 3 lanes of travel. There's going to have to be a telephone pole in there because some time ago, someone came through and wiped out the phone pole, but it was never replaced. The lines are so low, you can't bring a high-level truck in that entry point. The reason we have to have the entry point at that point is that MPC said, got to have a second entrance. So we're now looking at the need for a second entrance. If we take the 35 current peripherals on both sides, and I take the width of the things, and I'm dealing with the culvert, folks, I just need your help. What I have is some written proposals in reference to the setbacks and the peripherals and things of that nature, if I could have that distributed among the members. We also we'll have to run a 3-inch water line up through that area as well for irrigation purposes in the fields. So we've got not a whole lot of space, but here are some suggestions that we're asking for. That the east and west boundaries of the entrance, in other words, the 2 sides of coming in, that we be allowed to lower that to a 10-foot boundary for landscape. And also, with that particular issue, we want to set back to where the landscape begins from the roadway so I can enhance my line of sight in regard to traffic in both directions. The 3 lanes of traffic, the middle lane will be turning to the east, to the left. That lane of traffic, we're going to be elevating it to pretty close to the elevation of the neighbor to the west, to their property, because from their property driveway down to the culvert, it's about an 8-foot drop. So we're going to elevate that, and we'll elevate it to the point where we can see right down Washington Pike. That'll enhance that particular location as an entrance. But we need as much leeway as possible. And I'm asking for a 40-foot setback looking west on the west side. On the east side, a 20-foot setback from a standpoint of where the landscaping begins for visual purposes in both directions. The other idea is that the north boundary of the properties that you'll see on the map, where the ball field is close. See the red arrows and things. We're going to change the ball fields around. We're going to put T-ball there where there's not going to be an issue in reference to being close to the peripheral boundary. We're going to swap it out with the girls. The girls softball is there. We're going to move it where T-ball was and put T-ball there, which requires a smaller footprint. But I would like to have, for the sake of operations, around those properties, a 30-foot setback in reference to peripheral, and let it be a landscaped area on the north side, and also on the notes it talks about on the east side. Currently, it is wide open. There where you see the blue line that crosses over the two properties, that we would have some kind of a peripheral or visual landscape to barrier there, but we would prefer from the standpoint of just, we want it to be landscape. We're not interested in just doing 50 foot of nothing. I mean, the church is not interested in putting up something that's ugly. We'd like to make it to where it looks nice, it's attractive, and because the other boundaries, we're just going to leave it as is around the other parts of the property. But we want to make sure that it's attractive and it's nice and that our neighbors are good with it. So that particular thing is to, if you can allow us to do 30 instead of the 50 on that particular thing. Also, just I guess a question and a policy, the number 5 item, would we be allowed to, the 3-inch water line, as it comes up to the fields, would we be allowed to use some of that setback along the railroad track to bury the water line on part of that setback, if necessary? So I'm trying to squeeze a lot of stuff in 150 feet.
Railroad property?
Yes, if you'll zoom the map up a little higher. There you go. See the railroad? It's there you go. That's the railroad. And there's already a barrier with foliage along that property already. So we meet that standard from a standpoint of that. But where we got it, where we really need some help on it, is that peripheral setback on the two sides of that corridor, all the way back to the property.
None of this is encroaching upon the 20-foot standard on both sides of the railroad of railroad property, correct?
Yes.
Do you have anything else to add? I'm pretty sure the answer to number 5 is, as long as it's on your property, you can put the water line pretty much
Okay.
wherever you need to. Miranda, there's probably some places where you can't, but if it's in the periphery, boundary zone, it's allowed there, correct?
It should be, as long as engineering approves it, but
Okay.
it's not a zoning issue.
But I will say this right now. What you're describing is way beyond the scope of what you presented in your application.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What you're presenting is way beyond the scope of what you presented in your application. Unless Mr. Graves has anything else he'd like to say, otherwise, I would recommend that you ask for a deferral of 30 or 60 days so that you can come back with a complete plan showing exactly what you're asking for. Because right now, you only show 2 areas where you want to change the periphery boundary, and that's up near the corner where you've already said you can fix that by just changing it to a T-ball field or something. So you're asking us for things that you don't show us on the drawings.
In other words, the written document that was turned in doesn't match up with what I'm suggesting today?
That's correct.
Okay. So if we do a 30-day deferral, then we can come back with what you have in front of you and submit that in reference to the written document.
What we need to see is a layout that shows all of the issues you want to change with variances.
You want a schematic design?
Yes.
Same way you've got that one right there.
You're showing two red dimensions that you need changed. Apparently, there are a lot more that need to be changed besides those two.
Yes.
That don't show up on this plan, and that, we need to see it all. We need to
Okay.
see everything.
This was the MPC-approved plan,
That's fine,
okay?
but you're asking us to approve
Yes, sir.
changes beyond what's on that drawing, and
Do you want
we're-
a schematic showing what we're requesting in
Yes.
reference to those boundaries,
I wanna
being
s-
the 10-foot and the 30-foot? Make sure I understand you correctly.
if you want to change the periphery boundaries on the property,
Yes, sir?
you need to show us what periphery you want to change and what you want to change it to, everywhere you want to change one.
Okay.
And if there's issues with the driveway entrance or,
So put this written document on a picture,
yes, thank
on
you.
a schematic.
There you go.
Exactly.
That can be done.
Phil, you want to make the deferral request?
Normally I would. I do know Mr. Brooks, our families know each other, and the church he's representing has been one of my clients in the past. I think I will defer to one of my colleagues to make the,
Co-Chairman Brown said he'll make that for
I'll do
you.
that for you. I move that we defer this for 30 days until such time that the church and representative can come back with a more specified and intense layout of what they intend to do with the property.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any opposition? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Just a question for clarification.
Certain.
If I get you just the schematic that relates to the area we're discussing, is that sufficient? Or do you want the schematic for the entire 26 acres?
We just want to see the areas that are impacted by your request.
Yes, sir. That will be done. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Okay. 5F.
5SF is a request of Chris Watts for waiver of lot intensity from 1 acre to .9 acres for Tract 2. The property is located at 7012 Burt Newman Lane, parcel ID 091-03406. Property is owned AG in the 3rd Commission District.
Yes. Anything from codes on this?
Not at this time.
Are you the applicant, sir?
I am the applicant.
Any opposition to this? If you could, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Chris Watts. I'm the surveyor for this property. My address is 6625 Ruby June Lane in Corrington. The property in question here is at 7012 Burt Newman Lane in, I guess, Carnes area.
And if you could, give us the rationale for requesting the variance.
Mr. Tony Penry, which is back here with me, he was the power of attorney over this Novella Phillips property. So the property was purchased by his stepfather, father, back in the 60s, and it took Tract 1. He also purchased Tract 2 at a later time in the 60s. In 2008, he had them combined into one deed, but it still showed as Tract 1, Tract 2. They were never combined as one whole property. So somewhere along the line on the property assessors, it got changed into one property on the map. This survey was in order to split those properties on the map, basically a replat, to show that these are still two separate properties and to separate them back onto a Tract 1 deed and a Tract 2 deed. When we submitted, the zoning came back that they were agricultural. The one lot, Tract 2, is 0.89 acres, where the Tract 1 is, of course, meets the requirements of over an acre.
Okay. Craig, do you want to address this, or you want me to?
Yeah,
take
you
a
know,
stab
if you're
here?
splitting them up or have to do that again, why not run with the power line?
Well, we're not splitting anything. There were two separate tracts to begin with. All we're doing is taking the deed that's of record shows Tract 1, Tract 2. They were never combined as one solid parcel. All we're doing is taking them and separating the properties on paper.
When
They
you
were
say,
never combined as one solid
Well,
parcel.
basically, one less than an acre in an agricultural zoning, you're not allowed.
Even if that was so the property was less than an acre to begin with back in the 60s. It was never joined with tract 2 to make it a 2-acre parcel or 2.3 acre parcel.
So you're claiming that was basically grandfathered in because of the time?
Well, if that's the case, yes, but they were never combined as a solid parcel to make one large piece of property.
okay,
You
when
trying
you
to
say that,
separate them today?
Excuse me?
You trying to separate them today?
We're trying to separate, to go back to the deeds as they were in the 60s, to where it was, I can't see what, I don't remember what parcels they were at the time, but it was a parcel and a parcel, not one whole piece when it was purchased. So we're just trying to get it to go back to the way it was in the 60s for future. Yeah, here's the deed now. This is the deeds of record now where it shows tract 1 from 63 and tract 2 from 65. These were never combined on the ground as one whole piece of property for 2.3 acres.
I'm looking at a deed dated 1963, September of 1963, and it does not show 2 tracts. It's just 1 tract.
And that was the tract 1 as shown there, which is the 1.5 acre parcel or 1.3 acre parcel.
And so you're saying on the 17th day of June in 65 was the 2nd tract?
The 2nd tract was purchased, which was a neighboring property.
Okay, so it originally was 2 separate pieces of property,
Correct.
and now it's,
And then Mr. Phillips combined them on a deed and still showing, that was the most recent deed that she was showing on the screen there. Still shows it as tract 1, tract 2. It was never combined as one solid piece of property.
it seems to me like your best course of action is to go to the planning commission and re-subdivide this property into 2 different tracts. I realize right now it's not combined,
Right.
but the way to fix your problem is to combine the 2 and then subdivide them in such a way that they're both at least 1 acre lots.
So there's no way to go back to the way the deeds were from the 60s without separating them and making everything an acre.
If you have lots that are less than an acre, you can't build a house on them. But the way to fix it, you have 2.7 acres of property under 1 owner. That owner can combine that property into 1, subdivide it into 2 lots that are at least an acre each. That solves your problem. I think that can be done, right, Counselor? Yes. So you don't need a variance to do that. You just need to,
Just go back and do a re-subdivision and just take the, whatever it is, the 1/10 of an acre from the other piece of property and just make it a re-subdivision.
yes.
Simple enough, because the planning commission sent me your way just to get that answer, so.
I don't know what the planning commission does for various reasons, but
Gotcha.
the easiest way to do it is to do what we just said. The best way.
All right, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So hang on before you leave.
Come back up.
I think we need to withdraw this and refund his money.
I make a motion, we let him withdraw it, refund his money.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? No. I don't know who you sued about getting your money back, but. For F, I think it is. I'm sorry, 5G, excuse me.
5G is a request of Sam Jamani for waiver of front yard setback from 50 feet to 42 feet. The property is located at 10749 Dutchtown Road, parcel ID 131-06521. Property is zoned CB in the 3rd Commission District.
Anything from codes? Nothing at this time.
No, we don't have anything.
Are you the app? Well, yes, you are.
Here on
the
behalf of the
applicant.
applicant.
Here on behalf of the applicant. Is there any opposition to this? If you would, state your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Taylor Forrester, 1111 North Shore Drive, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37919. Here on behalf of the applicant, again, as referenced on the agenda, this is a request for a reduction to the minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 42 feet. This is for a proposed hotel project. This property is a corner parcel at the intersection of Dutchtown Road and Lexington Drive. This results in the property having two frontages, which means the proposed hotel development is subject to two 50-foot front yard setbacks. There's approximately 550 linear feet of combined frontage, which is well above a typical lot. Usually this is a benefit. However, for this property and development, it compounds rather than relieves the setback burden because both frontages, again, trigger that 50-foot setback requirement. The driveway spacing requirements measured from the intersection further restrict where curb cuts, and drive aisles can be located, which in turn dictates where the building, parking, and drive aisles can be situated on the lot. An existing detention pond occupies the rear of the property, which removes this area from the building envelope. This detention pond not only handles stormwater from this property, it also handles the stormwater from the adjacent property situated directly to the north. Therefore, the detention pond can't necessarily be reshaped, resized, or relocated based on that shared stormwater. The overall kind of significant factor is the fact resulting from a soil test along the peripheral of that detention pond easement area. That the report for the soil test revealed contaminated soils. In order to avoid disturbing this contaminated soils and the remediation, handling, and disposal obligations that the disturbance would trigger, all that can be done, but again, I'm not an environmental engineer or scientist, but working in development and along these, coming up with these issues, having to address them at times. Yeah, things can be remediated, they can be disposed of, but generally the best solution is if you can avoid disturbing it, don't disturb it. So in order to stay out of that area of the contaminated soils, that forces the building envelope to be pushed forward towards Dutchtown Road. So again, the net effect combination, dual frontage setbacks, intersection, driveway spacing, the shared detention pond, and then the contaminated soil along that peripheral leaves a constrained, irregularly shaped buildable area that, again, pushes this building towards Dutchtown Road, necessitating the requested setback reduction. Again, this is a reduction of 8 feet. It is the minimum adjustment necessary as the ordinance requires. It's not about increasing density, room count, or anything like that. It's simply in order with this irregular shaped lot and to stay out of this contaminated soil. So again, we request that you approve the requested reduction to the minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 42 feet.
I think this is Craig's.
I don't really see any problem with the setback. His detention pond, he's gonna have to clean out. Got trees and everything else growing in it, so he's gonna have to disturb something. But that's all I would have with that.
Yeah, I think the contaminated was so you got the pond, then you got the whole easement area. It's on the peripheral of that
Well,
easement.
you're gonna have to clean them out to be considered your pond.
Okay,
It just needs cutting down,
gotcha.
just a grass bed, basically.
Okay.
Mr. Forster, is there any reason why you can't just have the setback reduction only in the area where the building makes it necessary instead of having it all the way along Lexington Drive?
I think it's on Dutchtown, right?
Yeah.
Just Dutchtown
No,
Road or Drive.
It's on Lexington, right?
Is it
there.
on Lexington?
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, it's where it's chamfered there at the corner.
Okay.
It's that area right there where you're,
Bring our civil up here. Name and address.
So my name is Solomon. I'm the engineer for that project.
Address.
The address for the property.
Your address.
My address, it's, I really don't know the address really. So 4334 Pebble Mill Drive. I just started with that new company. But anyhow, so we're really asking that 42 because if we need to do a 50, that whole building is gonna go towards the pond. And if we do that, we're not gonna have enough area for the pond. If that makes sense.
if one of you or both could approach, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Go there.
Here's what I'm talking about. You can get 50 feet off of the corner here up to that point, right along the back of the sidewalk here and around here, and from that point on, you can have 50 feet all the way down Lexington Drive. You see what I'm saying? You can take that with you.
That works for that property, if we could do that, yeah.
I would love to show the rest of the board what I just showed him. If you could bring that back up and just let everybody take a look at it, so they'll know. Yeah, it'll be obvious once you see it. I don't have a highlighter.
Yeah, if we do 42 to the corner and then 50, yes, because we're not gonna build anything there, just a parking lot. Really, yeah.
That makes sense, Phil?
If I may, Mr. Morton, I wonder if we could just attach that or incorporate that as an exhibit. That may be the easiest way to reference it.
I'm okay with that, but yes.
I think we're going to introduce it as an exhibit.
You gonna modify their request?
Mark it on yours.
Yeah, I think so. You want me to take a stab at changing it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Supplement, yeah. I will make a motion to supplement the request to restrict the setback reduction to only that required, the minimum required in order to get the building to fit on the lot as currently shown. And if you would, somehow we need to get that into the record, so
Up here?
if you can.
Yep.
Yeah, if you would
Yeah,
give
I'll
it
draw
to
it
the
here.
clerk so she can, you understand the concept from what you saw?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So the motion's been made to supplement the request to change the setback reduction to only that necessary to put the building where it's shown on the application. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those,
I assume we need to get that to codes as well.
well, I think is there a resubmittal of this going to be necessary, Amanda?
I'll just need a revision to the site plan when you guys have it drawn up, but.
Okay, so you know the process from there, right? Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
5H.
5H is a request of Jordan Cummings for waiver of lot intensity from 1 acre per dwelling to 0.9 acres per dwelling. The property is located at 5913 Ball Road, parcel ID 091-03406. Property is zoned AG in the 6th Commission District.
Are you the applicant for
Yes,
this?
sir.
Is there any opposition to this? Anything from codes?
Just that this is one of those parcels that was divided by deed and never by plat, so that's why he's here. He kind of bought the property like this.
I see. If you could give us your name and address for the record?
Yes, sir. My name is Jordan Cummings. My current address is 3046 Bogart Lane, Knoxville 37921.
So you're asking to waive the lot intensity requirement from 1 acre to 0.91 acres per dwelling?
Yes, sir. The intent is to build my personal family residence on this piece of property. It exists at 0.91 acres. I understand that the zoning, the intent of the zoning is 1 acre per dwelling, but there's not a practical way for me to increase the size of that lot in order to build that dwelling. The site plan that I submitted demonstrates that I can meet all of the other requirements of the zone. I'm just a little bit boxed in right there.
Okay, I'll give you a little help on this. I'm reading now from the 6.6004, which I read before, but I'll read it again. Purpose of the variance to modify the strict application of the specific requirements of the ordinance. In the case of exceptional, irregular, narrow, which is what you have, shallow or steep lots or other exceptional physical conditions whereby the strict application would result in a practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship which would deprive the owner of the reasonable use of the land. This fits that description. That is a requirement necessary in order to be able to grant a variance. Since this is John Elliott's district, he's not here, I will make a motion to approve this request as written.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you. 5I? Good, I got this one.
5I is a request of Taylor Forrester for waiver of landscaping requirements under Article 5.38 of the CN zone listed in Addendum 1. Property is located at 1401 Bexel Drive, parcel ID 144LB00301. Property is zoned CN in the 4th Commission District.
If you could state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Taylor Forrester, 1111 North Shore Drive, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37919. Here on behalf of the property owner.
Anything from codes?
Not at this time.
Any opposition? Okay, Counselor, if you would, please state your case.
Yes, I was going to pass out, this is included in your packet, but it's probably on the letter size paper this way. See it like.
We always like tabloid sheets. They fit so much better. Fumble fingers. There we go. That looks better.
So the requested variances are strictly related to landscape plantings. It is not that we do not want to provide beautiful landscaping and extensive landscaping. It is just the physical site constraints that are present, that were not our making, that don't allow us to comply with the strict language or application of the landscape requirements in the zoning ordinance. That single physical condition driving all the requested variances is the extensive utility infrastructure crossing the front, side, and rear yards of the property. Y'all discussed this at your agenda review meeting. This isn't just utility infrastructure for this property. I mean, this is mainline utilities that serve this whole area. We've got electric from LCUB underground that goes along I guess it's considered a frontage there on Beck's Hill. That would be on the north side of the property, and then comes behind the back side of the property, the full length of it. KUB gas line along the entire frontage there on Ebenezer, and then First Utility District sewer and water lines along that, partially the frontage of Ebenezer, but then along the Beck's Hill boundary as well. So the landscape requirements in the neighborhood commercial zoning ordinance require certain shade trees, certain ornamental trees, and certain spacings. So with applying the spacing requirements, one issue is the linear foot. When you calculate having to space 50 shade trees 50 feet apart, we couldn't meet the measurements for the 50-foot spacing. But really the issue comes down to, there's a Tennessee statute that deals with public utility companies and kind of their control of their easement area and no clearing, no planting. And that's Tennessee Code Section 6523-106 that essentially bars large trees and deep-rooting vegetation near utility lines. They have certain setback requirements that you have to stay, not just from where the utility line is, but outside of that even easement area, being able to plant certain trees in deep-rooting vegetation. It's 15 feet on either side of a sanitary sewer line or a water line, and it's 10 feet on either side of an electric conduit or gas line. I included in the application with the addendum letter from LCUB setting forth their rights under that statute, included KUB's planning guides and guidelines as to where you can, the areas that you have to stay out of for your planting. So again, the request here isn't that we don't want to plant, landscaping. It is just that we either comply with the zoning ordinance and violate state law, or we violate state law and comply with the zoning ordinance, which, as Mr. Morton will confirm, that in those situations, the state enabling clause sets forth that the Tennessee statute would be the controlling authority there. So for the requested variances along the front yard street frontage, we're requesting to reduce the required front yard planting of shade trees from 5 to 3 and reduce the required front yard planting of ornamental trees from 11 to 10. For the side yard, reduce the side yard planting of shade trees from 2 to 0, again, because of that no planting of deep-rooting trees and vegetations within that side yard area. There is no other area to plant them. With that side yard, we are able to meet the requirement of the requisite 4 ornamental trees. Those are still provided on the plan. For the rear yard, reduce the rear yard planting of shade trees from 3 to 0. Again, based on the spacing of the easement area and the area outside of this utility easement area that you can't plant in, we can't meet that requirement. Reduce the rear yard planting of ornamental trees from 7 to 0. We'd still be providing shrub, ground cover, and screening, and that's reflected on the site plan. But again, we'd be violating the state law if we were planting those shade or ornamental trees. There is a parking terminal aisle. We are planting trees in several of the parking terminal islands, but for the single center island along the Beck's Hill Drive frontage, again, same issue, the underground utilities, we're requesting reduce that from 1 to 0. Again, all other terminal islands remain compliant. Again, the literal compliance with the ordinance would cause us to violate state law. This is the minimum adjustment necessary. As you can see, we're still planting a substantial amount of landscaping, a substantial amount of trees, especially when you consider the size of this parcel. And we are meeting the landscape requirements under the ordinances as much as we can in compliance with the law. Again, we'd ask that you approve those variances. If there's any questions as to specifically what the language should say, I can offer some assistance if you're so inclined. Thank you.
So you're claiming exceptional physical conditions, those being the various utilities. As you stated, is the minimum adjustment necessary for the reasonable use of the land. I don't think granting the variance would be contrary to the public interest. And whose is this?
This is me. You're pigeonholed.
I'm sorry?
The
We
property's
are.
pigeonholed.
Yeah.
These are outside of anything you have control over.
Right.
I'm just kind of going through my notes here and looking at at the variance request to make sure that nothing is out of order per se, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm also trying to get under my brain if I want to read into record each variance request stated, or to make a motion to approve the request as it's stated on the case file. And I would like some assistance on determining which way to do.
You want to know whether we need to read in each variance request?
What the minimum of each would be, as per se, like the reduction from 5 to 3 front yard shade trees and from 11 to 10 front yard ornamentals, each of those which are the minimum necessary relief, or approve it as it is written.
Do they conflict? I mean, do those two, I mean, they're consistent with each other, are they not?
They are.
I think we could approve as written or as submitted, be fine.
Okay. That would save a lot.
Law department agrees. You can just, you can just approve, you can approve it as is, as written.
I have it written if that, either, is that fine how they're, I guess how it's written, is it kind of how it's listed on the agenda is what you're saying?
How it's listed throughout all the pages.
How what?
I think the issue is it just says on the application that front yard setback from 35 feet to 25 feet. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Excuse me. Waiver of landscape requirements, see addendum. We need to, you stated it in your.
I've got them
in
written
your-
if that-
okay.
Somebody wants to
Just
see it.
bring up. Yeah, you had specific requests for planting on, on 4 different sides, I guess. Okay, I'll read it into the record. I guess I'll just go ahead and make a motion that we approve to reduce the front yard planting of shade trees from 5 to 3, reduce the required front yard planting of ornamental trees from 11 to 10, reduce the side yards planting of shade trees from 2 to none, all for ornamental trees still provided, reduce the required rear yard set planting of shade trees from 3 to 0, reduce the required rear yard planting of ornamental trees from 7 to 0, shrub/ground cover screening provided instead, and finally, reduce the required planting of shade trees for the single center island along Bexel Drive frontage from 1 to 0.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Taylor, you can have this back if you want it. I'm sorry, you want to look at it? Oh, she needs to make a picture of it. Thanks, David. 5J,
5J is a request of David Harbin for variance of the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals for waiver of front yard setback from 35 feet to 25 feet along Old Clinton Pike and Paddock Lane. Property is located at 7388 Glenwood Landing Way, parcel ID 067191. Property is zoned RB in the 6th Commission District.
Good afternoon, Commission. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. My name is John Valiant. My address is 606 West Main Street, Knoxville, Tennessee.
is there any opposition to this? Anything from codes?
Not at this time.
Okay, if you would, please state your name. I'm sorry, you've already done that. If you could give us your rationale for requesting the variance?
Yes, so the conditions of the land, it is in a regular wedge-shaped parcel, narrowing to a point. There is a creek on the property with a mandatory, I think, 15 and 30-foot stream buffer. I think there's delineated wetland with 15 and 30-foot buffers. There are 3 required detention basins and recorded perimeter easements surrounding the property going along Old Clinton Pike and Paddock Lane. And so this is a piece of property that has a very similar issue, I think, with a couple of the properties that have come up today. It does have dual frontage, I think requiring 2 35-foot setbacks. We are asking for a variance to reduce that 35-foot frontage setback to a 25-foot setback. And so the shape of the property, it is an irregular shape of the property, and I believe that the conditions would require us to push back into the stream areas. Additionally, this is not a use variance, so I don't think that it would create any issues with the use of the property. And so we would state that this is probably more a deprivation of the reasonable use of the property rather than it's not a loss in value argument. We're not talking about increasing density or anything of the sort. I think the 2 frontages we're talking about are really, we're not talking about side yard variances, we're not talking about backyard variances. And for the variance requested, I think it is along a main road, so it's not going to affect anybody in the community in terms of neighbors. There's no injury to the neighborhood. I don't believe there's going to be any sort of, the reduction that we're talking about only goes across public road frontage. And so all of the abutting owners would keep their required variances. I believe that a 25-foot variance under the circumstances, it would preserve the purpose of a front yard setback, which I believe is defined as light, air, separation from the traveled way, and sight distance. And this is not contrary to the public interest. And I believe the spirit of the ordinance is observed, and I believe that the owner has proceeded in good faith in constructing this this area up to this point. And so we're hoping that we can get a little help today with a 10-foot variance.
This would be, this is John Elliott's district, and he is not here, so I guess I will take the lead. Number one, yes, this is an irregular shaped lot. However, enforcing the required setbacks for this being in the RB zone would not deprive you of reasonable use of the land. It might deprive you of being able to build as many units on the land as you want to build, but it wouldn't deprive you of beneficial use of your land. Help me understand, the roads and utilities are already built as shown on this drawing, this layout, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. There are several utilities that I think are would be affected under the circumstances if we were to have to uproot pieces of the property or roads.
And just for the sake of transparency, all that was done anticipating that this would be rezoned to PR, which would not require a 35-foot setback. It would only require a 25-foot setback. Is that not correct?
Are you talking about the original designation?
It's always been RB.
I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood the question, or I didn't hear. What was the question?
Well, you have shown 25-foot setbacks, which are what would be required had this been approved for rezoning to PR.
Yes.
But that rezoning request either was never made or was never granted. Is that not correct?
I don't believe it was ever made. And I have the engineer with me today.
Yeah, I'm David Harbin, 4334 Paper Mill Drive. Yes, this was never anticipated to go to the PR zone. It was basically an oversight when we did that, so we got the plans approved. And I'm not getting any more units there. If we'd have known that beforehand, I would have slid it back, and we'd not gotten any more units than what's there today. So when we went for a building permit through codes, then they notified us that it's supposed to be a 35-foot. So we come here basically hat in hand asking for relief on this. We didn't realize what was going on. We just made a mistake there with the 35-foot step back down to 25. So, and we went ahead and got our plans approved through the engineering department. And we've already built the roads, got the storm drainage in. I've got the water and sewer in right now. So we're asking for relief to be able to do that. And our variance is to the front setbacks along the road, so I'm not really doing anything to any neighbors or anything. All the neighbors will have all the setbacks that they're entitled to.
Well, I will state that granting this variance would not be contrary to the public interest, so you have that going for you. And I guess in one way there would be a substantial justice done, although this is a self-inflicted wound that you're asking us to heal for you. Is there any other discussion about this? I will let someone else make the motion, because if I make it, then I have to vote for it.
And once again, I mean, we're not gaining anything that we would have before. If we'd have known this, we sent our plans in to review for engineering. It's ultimately our fault. We sent our plans into engineering review, and they did not comment on that. They let us go ahead and proceed with putting the roads in and everything else. And I'm not getting any more units than what we would have beforehand. We'd have been able to adjust it on the front end if everything wasn't installed now, so.
I believe the current density, I believe we're currently sitting at, it's well within the density of what would be permitted in an RB zone. I think an RB zone would typically permit 12 units an acre, and I think we're at something like in the ballpark of 7.9 right now.
Yeah, the density is not the issue here. The issue is you went and built stuff before you knew what the zoning was going to be and what your setbacks were going to actually ultimately be. I have
a question for codes.
I'm sorry?
If we did, for codes, Miranda, if we did not grant this variance for whatever reason, does he have any other recourse at this point?
Can he rezone to PR? Yeah, he could get apparently he can get the front yard setback reduced by going through a use on review. I didn't realize that before, but.
Would that give him 10 feet of relief? Because he's going to need it on,
Mike's looking it up.
very good, Sherry.
Okay, yeah, he technically could try to go through the use on review process and see if planning commission would reduce it instead, if you guys don't choose to do that. Even though he's under the density allowed by right, but he could get the use on review solely for the setback.
I'm going to make a motion that we deny the request for the front yard setbacks due to, honestly, in my opinion, not meeting the hardship issues, and there is an alternate route for him to take.
I'll second that. Is there any opposition to that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries.
Thank you,
Seeing as
guys.
there's nothing else on the agenda today,
Motion.
I will open this up for public discussion. Doesn't seem like the public is here, so I will entertain a motion.
For 6A, do you need to make a motion to defer that? We didn't actually talk about deferring it in this meeting.
I'll make a motion to defer that for 30 days to the next meeting.
Yes. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Seconded.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.